leadership is what you do to improve yourself. And it sounds like Yvan has done a lot to improve himself in the offseason despite some of the challenges with COVID.
Yeah, Ivan's been phenomenal, and he came back lighter, 25 pounds lighter than where he left last season. He's more explosive. He's finishing better at the basket. He's reading situations better as we continue to go along. And I think a lot of that, you look at last season and the progression that Yvan made from the beginning of the year, coming in as a 17-year-old international player that hadn't spent much time in the States, to where he was at the end of the season, had a 19-rebound game and a double-double late in the year. And I thought he got progressively better as the season went on. So to come back, I can't remember who said it, but the great thing about freshmen is they become sophomores. And, he's had a year under his belt. He had a lot of valuable experience on the floor, and I think he learned a lot and understood he needed to make changes in his body to be a more consistent basketball player. And I give Yvan a lot of credit. He really bought into that, bought into the program that he did in the offseason when he was not allowed to be here because of the travel restrictions, but he didn't skip a beat. And the fact, not only Yvan but Thor, who had been in the system and came back and did help provide leadership for our guys because they had been here. And they saw some things that happened a year ago that can't happen if we're going to be a more consistent basketball team this year. So I have been. I'm proud of Yvan for what he's done and how he bought into the offseason program to get his body into the type of shape where he can have a major impact.
Michael Brunts, Nebraska 24/7.
Thanks for doing this, Fred. Quick question on Trey, getting the news that he did with the waiver. How does that kind of change things, I guess, for your backcourt and the outlook there? And also, I guess, just kind of getting that wrapped up before you guys start practice. I mean, is that a little bit more freeing for you? Or I guess the timing of that too, how does that kind of help you?
Yeah, it absolutely will help us. There's no doubt about that we have clarity that Trey will be on our active roster this year. And we approached it that way going in, that he would be available for us. You always prepare for that, and we're thankful. We're thankful that Trey got his waiver, and we're really excited about him. He's a two-way player. I think he can have a huge impact on both ends of the floor. He's a tenacious defender, and you can look at his stats last year leading the ACC in steals. He's got great anticipation on that end. He moves his feet. He's tough. He's physical. And then offensively, he's very versatile. He can play multiple positions. He's really done a good job working on his shot. That was a big point of emphasis for us early in the process, was doing individual skill work, getting the fundamentals right with his shot, with his footwork and his body position, and he's worked extremely hard in that area. He's a guy that can play multiple positions on the floor because of his size and his ability to get downhill. He's shown a great willingness as we've gone on to make simple plays. And when you got guys like he and Delano Banton playing together in the backcourt with Kobe Webster, with other guys, we will have multiple players that can initiate our offense this year. But I love Trey McGowan's. I love his makeup. I love everything he's all about. And, the good news that we got last week in regards to Trey being eligible was huge for our basketball team.
Kevin Suits, KLLN, KGIN TV.
Hi, Fred. I was curious how close you are, or do you have an idea what the lineup might look like this year with the first day of practice tomorrow? Is it just an open slate and you're going to let all the guys battle it out, or do you have an idea of who's going to be where with the season still over a month away?
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, good to see you. As far as how we're going to approach everything with playing time, who's going to be the starting group, who's going to be the group that we can trust at the end of games, that will all play itself out in practices as we move towards our opener. From tomorrow, we'll have 42 days before we open our season, and that's what you look for, is who's going to be the players that give you the consistency to deserve to be on the floor, not only at the start, but obviously more importantly at the end of the games. Do I have an idea? Yeah, sure. I think we all have an idea going into it on who's going to be in your rotation, but things obviously are fluid and things can change. But yeah, I've liked this group and the competitive spirit that they brought to practice every day, and I do think we have a pretty diverse, unique group of players that can go out there and play, with multiple skills, just have different types of groups. I think we have a group that can play small, and we also have a group, if we want to, that can play a little bit bigger. You just look at the size of our team this year compared to where we were a year ago. The physicality, I think, of this group, the athleticism of this group, I think we're in a better spot. The league's going to be a monster again, obviously. It's going to be, I think, the best league in the country again, but we are certainly on the right path in going out and hopefully competing and giving ourselves a chance to win every time we step on the floor.
Andrew Ward, KLK on TV.
Hey, Fred, you mentioned Thor's leadership a little bit. Can you kind of expand on that and just kind of how he's kind of melded into that role? And how do you see his playing time and his role on the team on the floor this year?
Yeah, Andrew, I thought Thor had a terrific year for us a year ago. He was really the guy that was Mr. Reliable for us because of everything that he did. He's always in the right spot. You never have to worry about coaching him and for Thor knowing where to be. He's got that very high innate basketball IQ. He knows how to read situations. He's a very good passer on the floor. He shot the ball at an incredibly high clip, really until about the last week of the season where he went into a little bit of a slump. But anybody that can space the floor for our playmakers, for Delano, for Trey, for Kobe as they make plays, for Teddy, another guy that certainly can make plays. We're going to need those guys on the floor. Thor going into now his fourth year and being a guy that's been through the battles of this league, and he knows what it's all about. So he certainly can help our guys navigate through some of the growing pains that some of our younger players and guys that will be in this league for the first time. We'll rely heavily on Thor for that. And again, he's a guy that wasn't able to be here early, but kept himself in great shape and didn't skip a beat once he got here.
Jacob Padilla, Hail Varsity.
Hey, Coach. You talked about Ivan's improvement, and so what have those kind of workout battles been like? You've got more depth now with Derek eligible play, with Eduardo kind of joining in. What have those practice battles been like, and how do you feel about your depth, especially with the ability to go smaller with some guys as well?
Yeah, Jacob, I feel really good. I feel, again, with Ivan's improvements from where he was in year one to where he is now, and he just, a big part of it is he knows what to expect going into year two, as opposed to being raw year one, not really knowing what his role was going to be and really being thrust into a starter's role.